I don't know if you guys remember, but about a year ago, I bought this, the Razer Synosa. And I gave it to my girlfriend because she was using, well, this. This is absolute garbage. Anyways, she told me that she wanted to game more and more on PC, and I thought that it would be a good time to get her a proper mechanical keyboard upgrade. So I got her this. It was super inexpensive, and reading the specs, this thing looks insane. So let's take a look at it on your boot sequence. Everything's loose in the box because I've been using it. Now, I know what you're gonna say. He had the box upside down during the intro. I don't know why I keep doing this. Anyways, you're also probably saying, did he buy her the pink one just because she's a woman? Well, yes, but also because I've been planning to upgrade her entire setup. I'm talking PC, desk, paint, flooring, mouse mat, absolutely everything. And since she likes Kirby, I thought I'd make a whole Kirby theme for her setup. So this is the IROK FE75, and it's a 3-mode keyboard, so you get wired, Bluetooth 5.0, and it comes with a dongle for 2.4 gigahertz. In the box, you'll find the keyboard, of course, and I'm not gonna lie, in this specific lighting, it is a lot more vibrant than when I was testing it at home, so kudos on the color choice, IROK. I really like this one. You'll also find a 2-in-1 keycap puller and a nice and long, I wanna say 6-foot cable. I don't know, I just used my own USB cable that I had at home for my current keyboard, and a nice little emblem. Where's that little thing? Right here. I don't know why exactly they give it to you separately, but this little emblem, you could just pop it out like that and pop your new one in. There's like a magnet that holds it down. It's pretty cool. Now, if you're not into the pink and coral aesthetic, this keyboard also comes in all black, all white, black and red, and blue and white. Now, for the price point, which we'll get to a little bit later, this thing is absolutely rock solid. It's got a good heft to it, and it definitely feels better than a lot of keyboards that are sometimes twice the price, which is kind of crazy. Anyways, let's talk basics. It has what their marketing calls abrasion-resistant ABS keycaps, but for some reason, they don't actually mention that. One, it's not painted ABS with laser etching like a lot of more expensive keyboards. I'm looking at you, who was it? It was the Keychrons. And two, these keycaps are double shot with the ink in the plastic, so the lettering will never fade. That's a scratch test that I do with every keyboard I try. It pays me to scuff up caps, but it's for you guys. Before we talk about the insides of this thing, let's talk about the outside and ergonomics. You have a traditional 75% style with some offset arrow keys and extra buttons on the right. You have an indicator light on the top left here that is individually controllable with the arrow keys and function, and also the spacebar will light up whenever it's charging. Let me show you a bit of the RGB here. It's very, very, very soft RGB, but it's very, very bright. I'm guessing because the keycaps are not translucent, it kind of bounces back onto the board, which makes it look very, very pleasant. For RGB control, you got the usual function and arrow keys. This is for this bar right here because it's not connected to a computer. It's just flashing green currently, or you could change it by pressing function. And of course, this is the RGB effects. And of course you have brightness too. It has a bunch of presets, but as you might know, I prefer my RGB off because I want the battery in there to last as long as possible. Because yes, like I said earlier, it is wireless. It has a 3800 milliamp hour battery in it, which makes it last about 4 to 5 days with the RGB lighting on and about 3 to 4 weeks with the lights off. IROK didn't provide any numbers for me. That's just from me testing it out at around 5 hours a day. For the Bluetooth, it's 5.0 like I said, and it has up to 3 slots of memory for devices that you can change by pressing FN 1, 2, and 3 when you turn on the actual Bluetooth mode. To switch between modes, you just have to use the little switch at the top of the keyboard here, and of course it's right next to where you would charge the battery inside of the device. Under the keyboard, you can find 4 super grippy rubber pads and 3 level of angle adjusts. You of course have flat when it's just like that. You have the first level, which is right here, and the second level right here. All of the feet have the little white grippy pads, which is way too often overlooked. So good on you, IROK. Oh, and of course you have a nice spot for the 2.4 gigahertz dongle right here. This, once again, Also very overlooked on some keyboards. And sometimes they use doors to cover the little spot where you would put the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, but then you lose the door so the thing doesn't stay in. Anyways, the keyboard also has pretty much everything you'd expect from a good mecha keyboard. Full N key rollover, Windows key lockout, brightness adjustments, and media keys are all under the FN key right here. All right, so I guess I've been making you guys wait a little too long for a sound test, so let's fire it up. By the way, it has red switches, which are branded from IROK, so let's do that. In my opinion, it sounds pretty solid, and it's really quiet, which is definitely my preference. I have 2 videos about silent switches, and I'm still looking for quieter ones now. All the switches and stabilizers come pre-lubed, and they did a pretty good job. The switches themselves are IROK reds, like I said earlier, basically matching the feeling of all other red switches. And I'm not sure if I said it yet, but yes, the switches are hot-swappable. That's why you have a keycap puller and a switch puller. You can hot swap with any 3 or 5-pin switches with absolutely no problems. I'm looking at you, Keychron, again, because the tab or something on this side can't accept 5-pin switches. All right, let's try and get inside of this thing. I'll take out all of the switches first, and then we'll just dive in.
20 minutes later.
All right, so all the keys are out, and now to remove the top part of the tray, all you have to do is pull really hard to the sides and just jam things into it. I did it just with my fingers, but that's because I'm used to it. I do it a lot. So let's get the top off. Wrestle with it, wrestle. You got it, man. You got it. Ah, there you go. Okay, so this is the top part of the keyboard. Let me see. I'm guessing I have to remove the screws now. Okay, I don't have an iFixit kit right now, right here, so I'm gonna have to do with this Intel Arc kit, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Ew, look at that. There should be a battery cable up here. Let me just remove that. There you go, and then there you go, just pull that out like this. So this is basically the entire keyboard. It's a big fat sandwich of metal, rubber, and connections. I really like that they kept the PCB white, you know, just to make it look as good as possible. Here we have the switches. We have a mounting plate. Is it ABS or is it metal? Let me, that feels like metal. Let me just check again. I have a little magnet here. Yep, definitely metal. So you have a metal mounting plate. I'm gonna bring that as close to the camera as I can. A very, very thick rubber layer here. They call it a silencing layer. Then you have, of course, the PCB. And under the PCB, we have another silencing layer. That's what they call it. I'm not the one making up some names. Ooh, there you go. And once again, it is very, very thick rubber. No wonder this thing is so quiet. I really like how quiet it is. Here we can see the 3800 milliamp hour battery right there. Sorry, I was just like playing with this floppy thing. It's a fairly small battery. You could probably fit a bigger one in there, but I mean, for the price, this is ample. So yeah, I guess that's it. It's a tray mount keyboard, and it's very, very high quality in terms of the sound dampening they're using here. I don't think I'll have to do any mods to it for it to be as quiet as I need it to be. So let's put it back together. All right, so we've touched on the outside, we touched on the features, and we even dove inside of this thing. Now let's touch on software. So this keyboard has an odd way of getting it. You press function and then escape, and then your browser will automatically open to a Chinese website to download the software to control it. I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant, but I did download it just, you know, to show you guys. Then it asked for public network access. I was kind of spooked, but I accepted since I do have a packet monitoring system on my PC. That's Wireshark, in case you're wondering. So far, the software hasn't phoned home at all for anything. I did speak to the brand about this concern that I had, and they said that they're working on a version that wouldn't check for updates, essentially an offline version of the software. I personally, if I was you, would wait for that version of the software to come out if you plan on buying this keyboard. All in all, I really like it, especially for the price. It's currently just under 60 bucks on Amazon, and there's an automatic coupon that drops it down to 50. Future editing Snows here. I received an email after contacting the company about the software, and they said that they have a promo running with a coupon code for the next month. I'll put it on the screen here. It's 20% off instead of the usual 15, so it comes out to about $47. I've even seen some people buy it in the mid-40s. I've seen way more expensive keyboards that didn't have 2.4 GHz dongles or had painted keycaps, they felt hollow, or had an absolutely pingy trash spacebar. This hardware is good. It's just the software that's a little bit sketch, but you don't need it. Plus, once again, at least for me, the RGB just eats up battery life, so I keep it off. All in all though, it's perfect for the setup surprise that I want to do for my girlfriend. Remember, I'm upgrading everything, floor to ceiling. Stay tuned for that video. Don't worry, I already filmed everything, so this video doesn't ruin it for her. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.